Thank you.
For meeting. We have two substantive items tonight. An update on where we are on the regional plan revisions and a review of NRPC activities over the last year and recognize certain folks for their contributions. So first of all, are there any adjustments to the agenda that anyone has? Hearing none, I'll go through the introductions, starting with Grand Isle County use. Is Amelia here? Okay, Alberg Town. Bakersfield.
Bakersfield, Linda
Yeah.
McCall.
Berkshire.
Josh
Enos-
did let me know he had a conflict and couldn't be here tonight.
Enosburg Falls. Enosburg Town. So it's kind of quiet in the front end of the alphabet of these roll calls. Now I think it'll start heating up. Fairfax.
Barbara Murphy.
Fairfield.
Julia Callan.
And Chuck had a conflict.
Fletcher.
Lori Rupel.
And Michelle Frenier.
Franklin. Georgia.
Sorry, Yvonne had a conflict in Franklin. I tried to jump into time.
Carl Rosenquist, Georgia.
And Kirk had a conflict. Grand Isle.
Howard DeMars, Grand Isle.
Barclay Morris, Grand Isle.
Highgate.
Jack Pelkey, Highgate.
Isle Lamont. Montgomery.
Sylvia had a conflict.
Montgomery. North Hero.
Andy, North Hero.
Richford. Sheldon. South Hero. Peter Zamore.
Bob Bierman. Hit the right button.
Sounds good. St. Albans City.
Chip Sawyer.
Elizabeth Nance.
St. Albans Town.
Marietta Shelton.
Swanton Town. And Swanton Village.
Damon Broderick, Swanton Village.
Heidi Bridge Valenta, Swan Village.
And then the staff.
Hi,
Dean.
Catherine Richard. Oh, go ahead, Dean.
Dean Pierce, staff.
Don, do you want to go?
Sean Coleman, staff.
And Catherine Dimitrick.
Great.
And Peter, I think where we had Danielle and Mike join after you went through their, oh yeah, Danielle's put in the chat, Danielle and Mike joined after you passed their towns.
Okay. Great. So next, opportunity for any public comment. I don't know if there are any members of the public, but any comments? Hearing none, the next item is to consider taking action on the minutes of the October 2025 Commissioner meeting. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Peter, I had two very minor notes. Page 1, it referred to Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation as Franklin County Economic Development. Catherine, I think, has corrected that. And then on page 2, line 54, talks about the transit being transferred to RCT. I would ask that RCT be spelled out for clarity. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve with those two slight.
Second.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? The
I'll
motion,
abstain, Peter.
okay, Howard,
Yeah, me too. I don't think I was here last month
okay, Lori.
or last time.
Um, the motion carries. Next item is commission reports. There are written versions and we'll go through them quickly. Finance and Operations, Kirk is not here, but we did have a Finance and Operations Committee meeting and discussed the status of the fiscal year 25 audit. Personnel, Bob,
Personnel did not meet.
and neither did the Executive Committee. Project review, Bill? Oh, he's not here, is he? There was one item that was discussed, a telecommunications tower, and I think,
Peter,
yes,
if you will, as vice chair, I could speak a moment to this.
great.
We had one project which we took under review. That's a 60-day period. So we're waiting to hear back and hopefully get more information from the owners of the project, which is basically a slightly downsized version from a project that they applied for some time ago, which was denied due to the nature of the area where they live. It's very scenic. It's the site of, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the church offhand, but it's a very historic church in the area. So we're trying to get this, steer this towards something people can live with, still be functional. So it'll be in the works for a while. So we'll work on that and keep the board appraised of how it's going.
Okay, thank you, Howard. Next is the Transportation Advisory Committee, Barclay.
Yes, we did meet. This was our biannual meet with representatives and senators that represent Franklin and Grand Isle County. And I put this diplomatically, Franklin County was very well represented with both a senator and a number of representatives. We discussed funding issues more than anything else. I'm horrible with names, but Matt, who is chair of the House Transportation Committee, gave us kind of a lesson on funding for transportation, why the funds have shrunk over the years between everybody's driving vehicles with much better mileage, so there's not nearly as much fuel being purchased, and some very large chunks of the transportation fund that are getting transferred to education. He threw out some ideas that he was hopeful might be able to bring some more funds in, but after hearing what we did about school budgets, I doubt that we will see any big influx of more funds into transportation. It was a great round table. Everybody contributed, and we were very fortunate that we had such good representation from Montpelier to show up. I think it was probably the most that we've had since I've been on TAC. We usually get 2 or 3, and I think we had 5 or 6 representatives and a senator. So it was a good meeting. Not real optimistic, but reality is what it is. I don't know if there's any other members that want to add something I may have forgotten, but.
Okay, thank you, Barclay.
Yep.
Next is Brownfields Committee. Doesn't look like Megan is here. Does anybody have anything, information on that committee? Hearing none.
Yeah, we approved the eligibility for a project. I forget which one it was though, but we did meet and move some projects forward.
Good. Next is regional plan and policy, Lori.
We didn't meet. We did get an email and a plan to sort of look at yesterday, and we have a busy January and possibly February between the plan and some town plans coming up, but nothing last month, nothing. No meeting.
Next is Vermont Economic Progress Council, recognizing that Barbara is not a council member.
But I did zoom in and audit the meeting, and towards the end, there was discussion of the contiguous characteristic in the CHIP plan. And as far as I could tell, they were determining not to alter how things are arranged, but there seemed to be some discussion of lands that may be involved in something you're trying to develop, but aren't exactly contiguous, and how that could get exempted. So the minutes weren't quite up yet, so I can't get the official what determination was made, but it was mostly just such a discussion.
Thank you, Barbara. Green Mountain Transit, Bob or Catherine?
Catherine, did you cover yesterday's meeting? I didn't make it.
I did. I attended
All right.
yesterday's meeting, and there was a discussion largely on the budget for the coming year and the board makeup and strategy. So I was mostly a listener rather than a participant, because this month marks Bob and my end on the Green Mountain Transit Board, because as of January 1st, the transit in Franklin and Grand Isle counties will be run by Rural Community Transit. So both Bob and I have agreed to serve in the short term on that board. Is that correct? Do I understand that correctly, Bob? You have agreed?
Yes, I agree. Now you should have a permanent seat
Yes.
as non-voting, but
The
as a
Regional
permanent,
Planning
okay.
Commission does have a permanent seat. I'm just, it'll be me for the short term, and then I'll probably let another staff person enjoy it. That board only meets every other month, so our reports will be a little less frequent, and we'll have to think about how we will be incorporating that into the board meetings in the future.
Okay, thank you. Next is Healthy Roots, Marietta.
So our next meeting, we did not have a meeting before, and today it was changed to the 15th of January. Peter Jenkins is running it. I haven't heard of any staff changes other than Christine is gone. So.
And then the Northwest Vermont Regional Foundation, Kirk isn't here. I don't know if there's been anything there. Catherine, are you aware of anything?
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Do the staff want to identify anything of note for the commission? Hearing none, then we will move on to our next item, which is an update on the regional plan. Is that you, Catherine?
That'll be me, although you could probably give it, Peter, because you attended the public hearing, and Heidi as well. So, as you will likely remember, we did submit our draft plan to the Land Use Review Board for their review and comment. And we heard back from the Land Use Review Board. The good news is that they found that our plan was in compliance with all of the planning goals, with all of the land use goals, and that all of our required elements, like the transportation and the housing and the natural resources, were complete and met all the requirements. They did have several comments on our future land use map, and we did take some time to present those comments at the public hearing that we had right before this meeting. Those comments include seeking more information on several of our proposed future land use areas, such as the Fairfax South Village, the Grand Isle Station, the Georgia South Village, and then some additional details for Highgate, and Richford in their planned growth and village areas. So we're going to be working to try to address those comments and incorporate them into the regional plan. We're honestly a little bit challenged in terms of how we address the comments for some of the future land use areas because the comments from the Land Use Review Board were adjust the map or provide more information without any indication of how the map should be adjusted or what additional information they might need. So we will be following up with the Land Use Review Board to see if they plan on offering any additional clarity or if we are just going to do our best effort. I think we have more than sufficient documentation to justify why and how we mapped things the way that we did. And so I'm confident that we could provide the additional information that they needed. And we're just going to be working through that as a staff in the next week or two. And then we will be bringing a new draft with those considerations for discussion to the Plan and Policy Committee.
Carl, you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Catherine. So what were the issues about the Georgia South Village? I'd be curious. Is Doug aware of what these are? Have you sent them to him or
We
not?
just got them on Friday, so we haven't done a lot with them other than take the time to read them ourselves because it's 45 pages worth of comments. So we're still digesting and we have not reached out to Doug yet. The comment was that they just needed more information to justify why we mapped Georgia as a center and how they qualify to be mapped as a center. So we have that information. I think we have that documentation. I'm not concerned about whether we have it. And as part of our resubmission for all of the communities that they asked for more information, we will be following up with the community itself as well. So we can get a letter from the Planning Commission and or the Select Board to just verify that they concur as well. So we will be reaching out. We just haven't yet.
So it was an issue over whether it should be Georgia Center or Georgia
No,
South.
it wasn't an either or, and the same with Fairfax. It wasn't an either or. It was just requesting more information about one particular part.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Sorry to
Yeah, you're
prolong.
welcome. No, it's great. That's a good question. And so we have those comments that we're working to incorporate, and we also have a lot of public comment that we received that we'll be working to incorporate, as well as a whole other list of changes that we'll be making to the future land use map based on our ongoing collaboration with all of our communities, including Georgia, Grand Isle, Sheldon, St. Albans Town.
Thank you.
Bob?
Yeah, Catherine, I didn't get to go through all 45 pages, but one that kind of jumped out at me was they recommended or asked that we put more detail on areas that should be protected. And where that bothered me was I would rather see the towns defining where the protection should be as opposed to us telling the towns where they're supposed to be. So I'm pissed on how we respond to that request.
Yeah, and I think that was a advisory.
It was an advisory, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was written fairly strong.
Yeah, so there's about I think we counted there's about 50 advisory recommendations included in their decision, and we are reviewing all of those. And there are definitely 8 or 10 that jump out as absolutely those are corrections. We should take care of that. But ones like that, Bob, where it would be really a policy shift for the regional plan, I don't think that we would be recommending to the committee and the board that we incorporate those. Because comments like that really would be a policy shift where we would be making the decision of those areas to be protected versus the town. So, yeah.
I've got a question, Catherine. It seems to me that their concerns are pretty important to be well understood.
Yes.
by NRPC, and I'm wondering what, if any, are the procedural constraints concerning the NRPC being able to interact with at least the staff at the review board. Is it more an adjudicatory function or a rulemaking function or something in between?
So that is the same question that we have, Peter, because their decision was so opaque in certain places, is we are unclear and we'll be asking them, are we able to come back to you in a more iterative process, or is that it? And then we submit the plan and, we hope for the best and we hope that we've gotten you the rock that you wanted. So we are really going to follow up with them. That's our next step. And I don't know the answer to the question. And I don't know that they have really thought about it yet either.
They've been through one plan already, as I understand it, right?
They've been through one plan they've been through two now at the preliminary review, and they're finishing up the Chittenden plan right today or tomorrow. And ours will be the first one that they see for real that's been adopted by a board.
Hmm. So we might be ahead of other regions and therefore can't look at them for precedent on how to deal with this.
Right. And all of the decisions have been different so far. So the Rutland preliminary decision was very specific in terms of changes to land use areas. I haven't seen the Chittenden one yet, but their draft was definitely more specific. So ours is definitely different than the others. And I think it will be worthy of us to follow up with the board chair to see what sort of additional information they might be interested in providing to us. Otherwise, it said adjust the map or provide more information. We have lots of information and data to justify the mapping decisions that were made in conformance with statute. So I'm pretty confident we can provide that information.
Mm-hmm. It's just a lot more efficient to have as good a handle as possible on what they're looking for.
Yes, agreed. And ideally, they will be able to give us that, but if they can't, I'm pretty confident we've got what we need.
Well, maybe we can set our own precedent. When they give us vague comments, then we send them 1,000 pages and let them go through it.
Yes, we are a bit in the driver's seat on the setting precedent part as well. But luckily, our staff that's been working on this have been really diligent about documenting every step along the way. So we don't have to recreate what we remember we did. We actually have it documented. So that's really helpful.
Great. Other comments or questions?
So can I review the schedule for what's coming next?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's fine. That was good break for content. So now what's next? So we will be working as a staff with the Plan and Policy Committee to develop another full draft of the plan that the Plan and Policy Committee will review at their January 14th meeting. They'll review it, make any further revisions they recommend, and then that draft will be provided to the board in advance of your January board meeting. That is the really last full draft that we are going to be hoping to get any substantive comments on. So that's really your last chance for any substantive comments. We will have wrapped up all of our collaboration with communities. We will have incorporated everything we've gotten so far to date. We'll be seeking any final comments on that draft by the middle of February, and then producing the adoption draft. So we have to warn one more hearing with 30-day notice, but we can't make any changes to the plan from the time we warn that final adoption hearing. So we're hoping to have that adoption hearing at the March meeting. So that means by mid-February, we need to have every last comment so we can turn around the adoption draft, which we will then use to warn our 30-day hearing and adoption vote for the March meeting. So that's what's next in terms of the time frame. And I'm going to send you all a follow-up email that details all of that. And includes a link to our hearing with more information the presentation we gave at the hearing that has some more information.
Great.
So the end is in sight. I feel like we've been updating the regional plan for 3 years now because we have in some way or another, but this is great. It's good to be nearing the end.
There's been a lot of Zen associated with it along the way. I mean, new principles and challenges on interactions and so on.
Yeah.
And to be on the front of it.
It's there was a new requirement, as you probably remember, to do the environmental justice and equitable burdens and benefits for environmental impacts, and the Land Use Review Board really complemented our work on that and has suggested other regions look to it as a model to follow. So compliments to our staff on that one. And the plan committee, who asked a lot of great questions and refined it.
Howard?
I'd like to just give my compliments to the staff. Just knowing the issues that have come up in my town, and I'm sure it's been exponentially growing as time's gone by. And what you guys have been capable of doing is amazing to me.
Thanks,
it's just
Howard.
amazing what you guys get done. Thank you for that.
And the amount of outreach and interactions with all of the towns multiple times. It's just incredible.
But what you probably don't know is that's usually the favorite part of all of our jobs is when we get to go out and meet with all the towns. So it's actually been great to get to do that.
Great. Anything else, Catherine, from you on this?
No.
Any other questions or comments from others? Okay, work in progress still.
Peter?
Yeah.
Now that we have everybody in attendance that had signed up to do the extended introduction, do you want to back up in the agenda and do that?
I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Forgot all about that.
Not a problem. So we had Julia, Nicole, and Barclay who had volunteered.
All right, I'll get it out of the way. Barclay Morris. I grew up in Southern Connecticut. I came to Vermont in the fall of 1969 to go to UVM. I ended up finishing my bachelor's in New Hampshire, actually, because my father moved there and became part of the staff, and being the dependent of a staff at a public university is a lot cheaper than out-of-state tuition. However, I moved back to Vermont on graduation day, filled the U-Haul truck while graduation was going on. Lived in Burlington, Richmond, Charlotte. Moved to Grand Isle in 1988, so this will be my 38th winter on this windy shore. I met my wife Ellen at a UVM hockey game in general admission in 1975. We were married for 42 years and we rarely missed a game. I think actually Catherine has had the opportunity to take advantage of a couple of our season's tickets when we couldn't attend. And we sailed, we canoed, we camped, we skied, we snorkeled, and we skydived together regularly until I was widowed in 2021. After I graduated, I was kind of at loose ends, and I met a small builder from Charlotte, and he had a house to build and he didn't have a crew. And I turned out to like it. I turned out to be good at it. So I worked for a couple of high-end builders for the next decade. And in 1983, I went out on my own, started my own business and ran that for 33 years. I guess my first foray into service was I served on the board of directors of the Ruggles Foundation, which was a home for retired teachers in Burlington, independently funded, and it is now under the umbrella of Cathedral Square, which it has still maintained its primary mission. And after leaving the Ruggles board and moving to Grand Isle, I kind of looked around to see what else I could do and ended up on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. There's an antique word for Grand Isle. Then moved on to the Planning Commission, and I spent about 10 years as chair of the Grand Isle Planning Commission, and that was my first stint on Northwest Regional Planning until I guess the mid 2000s. Catherine might remember as well as I would, but I stepped away at that point. And then somewhere around 2016 or 2017, when Adam White was chair of the select board, he asked if I'd be interested in serving as their representative, for which I can't blame them. I figured out that with regional planning, I do about 36 to 40 meetings a month, and adding that on top of a select board schedule, I'm amazed that there's as many select board members that make it to regional planning meetings as they do. So here I am. I'm a board member. I'm chair of the TAC. I'm on the finance committee. I'm on the executive committee, and I'm starting to do some volunteer work with the Humane Society of Chittenden County and lending them some of my construction expertise as they have some issues with the building. I enjoy this a lot. Wonderful people, fascinating people, both staff and members of the board. So thank you. I hope I didn't get a little too wordy.
That was great, Barclay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nicole.
Hi there. So I am Nicole Draper. I have been in Swanton for about 10 years. I am a trained culinarian and have studied food and culture all over the world. With my daughter, we've been to 3 different continents and 8 different countries. We came back to Vermont after living in Boston about 10 years ago because there is no place in the world quite like our special state. And we planted roots here in the Swanton community. Community is something that is just very, very important to me. And I first became involved with our local Chamber of Commerce. And then seeing all of the opportunities and meeting all of the wonderful people here inspired me to become a part of our select board. I was appointed to the select board about 5 years ago and have continued to stay in my seat. I'm also the executive director of Swanton Recreation, and providing recreational opportunities for our community is something that I have grown to enjoy. I only found that job during COVID, where previously I was a personal concierge for many different families throughout Franklin, Grand Isle, Chittenden, and Addison County. But because of the way things changed, a lot of families were now focused on prioritizing their own needs instead of having somebody help them. But I took the job and have been serving the Swanton community for 5 years. In addition to my work with the rec department, I am also the adult liaison for the Missisquoi Valley School District's Youth Council. We are working on creating a youth-centered space and amplifying youth voice within the Swanton community. It's something I really enjoy. As I have an 18-year-old daughter, and I didn't know what my calling in life was until I had a child. So being able to support young people in finding their way in communities is something that I am really passionate about doing. When the select board asked me to join as a commissioner for the NRPC, I was elated because I really want to help the growth and development and sustainability of our communities so that Vermont can continue to be a place that my children want to grow up in, as I had Vermont ties here growing up. And so here I am today with all of you folks, and I'm really happy to be a part of all of this work and that we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. That's great. Julia.
Hi, Julia Callan. I grew up in Georgia, Vermont, and currently live in Fairfield with my husband and 2 sons. I went to UVM and then Johnson State for a master's degree in in behavior analysis and did that for a little while. But most recently, my husband and I have rental housing in Plattsburgh over by the college. So that keeps us busy. I'm on the zoning board for Fairfield, and then of course NRPC, and I've certainly enjoyed my time on both. So
Great. Thank you. Thank you, all three of you. It's great to hear these various perspectives on life's choices and contributions to what we're all doing. It's awesome. I'm glad you started this, Catherine. So then the last substantive item is review of the year and recognition of commissioners and staff. Catherine, I assume that's you?
So yes, I have a presentation that I'm going to share that just highlights our work through the year. So with your patience, I will. Are you seeing that? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, let me try again. With your patience. Why is this not? Okay, I'm gonna try again here.
I know it's going to sound silly, but do you have the authority to share your screen or do you need someone else to give you that permission?
I do have the authority to share the screen. I don't know why.
Is it in the board? Is it in the board folder?
It is in the board. I'm gonna try one more thing. Don't know why it is not working. Thank you all for your patience.
No problem.
Does this mean the person doesn't get the personal recognition you wanted to give them?
That is
I'm sorry, Catherine. I'm just
exactly it.
There's
Not the
the one,
recognition I wanted to have right now.
the one that was done today.
Yeah, I've got it. So I'm just waiting.
Do you want me to try?
My PowerPoint keeps crashing. So yes, if you are able to open it, it's the 2025 NRPC year-end report from today at 5.
Oh, no, there's one in there from 2:30.
Technical difficulties. The 231 should be fine as well.
Okay, I'll see if I can share it.
Catherine, if you right click on the file and choose convert to PDF, you might be able to show it as a PDF once it's done saving.
Yeah. Good for that. Oh, I got it to open. Okay. Nope, that's not that presentation.
Not this one?
Nope.
Oh yeah, it's regional plan. Sorry.
Okay. But I think I've got mine to work now. So thank you all for your patience. I'm really hoping that this now works. Look at that. I think it worked, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Success?
Yep.
All right, year in review. Catherine learned how to make her PowerPoint work. So thank you all for your patience as we jump into our year in review. So just as a quick review, the regional planning commissions, in the absence of county government, we really step in to connect our communities with state and federal programs. We're political subdivisions of the state, and we are governed by you, our municipal representatives. So we're really in a unique position to provide services to all of our municipalities in the host of areas that we work in, from transportation planning to economic development, brownfields assessment, water quality, etc. One of the areas that we get involved with a lot on the executive director level is in state policy development. We work with the legislature, we work with state agencies to really help develop changes to state policy that will serve our communities and their vision for the future of the region. And currently, the thing I wanted to highlight is our work on the 3-acre permit and the open meeting law. So we did testify a lot on the open meeting law in the last 2 years as they were considering changes to really make sure that they incorporated the needs of our smaller communities as much as they were willing. And then with the 3-acre permit, we did testify a lot last year on the 3-acre permit, and I am serving on the advisory committee that's looking at the 3-acre permit and how or if to implement that statewide. So housing is one area that we've worked on more in past few years than we had previously. That's partially due to funding that we got for Housing for All, which was funded through a grant from the Boston Federal Reserve. As you know, our regional plan includes housing targets for the region with a need for 6,750 new housing units by 2050. And our regional plan contains lots of goals and policies to help get us there. But the other thing we're doing is we're working with communities to try to build the infrastructure to support that housing. So, for example, we recently took some of our Housing for All funding to help support a water supply analysis in the town of Highgate to do a water supply system that would support a 30-unit senior housing project. So that's one example of how we're really working with communities directly to help build the infrastructure. And then we have a duplex and accessory dwelling pilot project where we funded mini grants to 4 homeowners to add accessory dwelling units to their properties. Through that process, we've been able to identify some state policy and program barriers that we are going to be making recommendations to state agencies that they could adjust in order to simplify and cheapen the cost of building an accessory dwelling unit to help encourage more of those to be built throughout the region, as they are a really great alternate housing opportunity for families or single person renters. For economic development, we are not economic developers in the sense that we are going to meet with a business and help them put together the resources they need to run their business. We work in economic development by working in the community to build the infrastructure that supports that economic development. And whether that's through childcare, through education, or through infrastructure, which is the main way we do that now. We're currently providing project management services to 2 communities in the region, South Hero and Highgate, who are planning on building wastewater facilities that will support housing and economic development growth in their village centers. So we're very excited about those projects, and they take a lot of work on behalf of the communities, and we're really pleased to be able to step in and take some of the burden by being project managers. Additionally, we have across the 6 northern counties of Vermont what's called an economic development district. It's a federally recognized economic development district that having that district makes our communities eligible for economic development administration infrastructure and economic development grants. We maintain that district out of our office. We do all of the administrative work to keep that district going so that we can make sure all of the communities in the 6 counties remain eligible for that funding. We have a very robust brownfields assessment and cleanup program. In 2025, we were able to help 6 communities with 9 sites. Overall, since our program started, we've invested $5 million in brownfields assessment and cleanup across the region, including some loans that have happened to other places in the state for cleanup Some key highlights of those are working in Highgate and Swanton Village. You can see Highgate's had a pretty comprehensive effort this past year. We're working with them to assess and clean up brownfield sites in their village core, which is related to the water and wastewater project and the Cathedral Square housing development. In addition, we're working with the village of Swanton to redevelop the former Carroll Concrete property. They are working to redevelop that property, and we're supporting them as we can with funding from our Brownfields program. And if you're familiar with that property, it's right in the gateway when you enter Swanton Village. So when that redevelopment happens, it will be a real dramatic change for Swanton.
And South River Street, the former Hotel Riviera.
Exactly. Yep. And then clean water, you had a presentation last month from Dean about our work as clean water service provider for the Missisquoi and Lamoille Basin. And in our role in clean water, we're really trying to help Vermont move closer to achieving its phosphorus reduction targets for the purpose of having clean water that we can all enjoy. You can go to the beach, you can pull water from the lake, you can feel great and safe when you're enjoying yourself in our wonderful lakes and ponds and rivers. As our role of the clean water service provider in 2025, we contracted with our partners like Friends of Northern Lake Champlain, the Missisquoi River Basin Association, and the Resource Conservation District. We contracted for over $2 million in projects in 2025 alone. Since 23, we've contracted for 58 projects, and if all of those are implemented, we'll reduce phosphorus by over 600 kilograms phosphorus loading in the Lake Champlain Basin. So this work is, it's slow to get started. It's hugely impactful once it gets rolling. And so I think we're going to see some real results as these projects are being built and implemented. Many of you we work with directly with our planning and zoning assistants. We provided 22 municipalities in the region with planning and zoning assistance throughout the year. We serve as zoning administrator for 2 municipalities. A couple project highlights. We are working with St. Albans Town and City on the transit-oriented development master plan. It's really St. Albans Town we're working on with it, but it surrounds the city, so it's all interrelated, and we can't think of one without the other when we're talking about planning. But this is going to set a vision for growth for the north and south areas of St. Albans Town Growth Center. And then I forgot to update this one, but five municipalities did receive planning assistance for town plan updates from NRPC in the past year. We have a robust GIS program at NRPC where we do mapping that supports all of our projects, not just the regional plan, not just the local plans, but we use it for data and analysis in pretty much every program area that we work in. We have annually for many, many years provided each community in the region with a road atlas that has detailed E911 address locations, and we provide both paper and digital maps to the communities. And it's used by public works crews, by emergency responders. It's just hung up in town offices. It's a very, very popular map that we provide. And the atlases are something we will continue to do in the future. It's been a real important project that our communities have really enjoyed. And in the last 2 years, we've started keeping a housing dashboard. I would encourage you to look on our website. It's under our resources and data information, and it's an interactive dashboard that allows you to see where housing has been built in the region in the last 5 years. So it's interactive and you can do different search filters. It's really quite a great, robust tool. In transportation planning, we work with our communities from doing bike and pedestrian counts to road erosion inventories to doing long-term transportation planning. We help with grant applications and project management. A couple of the highlights for this past year is that we are coordinating an intersection analysis for Route 7 and Bushy Road intersection, and that's related to the new transportation district garage that's being built there. We're doing that in conjunction with Swanton. And then we just completed a full culvert and bridge inventory along 26 miles of the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. And that's a great photo of our staff deep down on the side of the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail, checking out and measuring a culvert. We do emergency planning and response. All of our municipalities receive some assistance for us in this area in 2025. One of the highlights of our work in emergency response is that we not only work with communities, but we also are trained. We have 3 staff members trained to serve in the State Emergency Operations Center. So when there is a large-scale emergency, Vermont Emergency Management can call on us and the other RPCs to serve in the Emergency Response Center and help them do their 24-hour, 7-day staffing. This past year, we were able to take advantage of this economic development district that I mentioned earlier to do a grant with the Lamoille County Planning Commission and our other partners across the 6 counties to do a floodplain modeling for the Lamoille River Basin from Hardwick to Georgia. And the model was really great at identifying risk areas during different flood scenarios and provided potential solutions to mitigate those flood risks. We focus on energy planning and implementation, and we work primarily with communities in 2 ways here. We help our communities draft their energy plans, and then we are helping several communities with the Municipal Energy Resilience Program implementing construction grants that they got to do energy efficiency work in their communities. One of the highlights of the year is something that our energy planner started a few years ago, which is the window dressers build. And it's a project that we do in collaboration with a nonprofit organization called Window Dressers. And they provide low or no cost inserts to folks to put in their houses to help keep your energy costs down by reducing drafts in your windows. And this year it was done at the St. Albans City Climate and Energy Committee took the reins on that since our energy planner is out on leave. But this is a great picture of some of the work. It's a really fun project. And then our regional planning, we've talked a lot about that. So I don't want to delve too much into it, but we do our regional plan just as a highlight that we attended over 50 meetings with local boards over this past year to talk about the regional plan. So I think that was noted earlier, and it's been really great and a really, really rewarding opportunity to collaborate with our municipalities. And then finally, we do all of this with partnerships, through some of which we manage ourselves and some of which we're partnering with others. So we partner a lot with our economic development corporations, the Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation and the Lake Champlain Islands Economic Development Corporation. And then we maintain within our office two different partner organizations. One is the Northwest Vermont Economic Development District, which I've talked about. And then we have the Northwest Vermont Regional Foundation, which is our nonprofit corporation. So we do have an affiliated nonprofit corporation that we can use to manage projects and programs. And any of our municipalities, we can partner with you. If you have a project or program that needs a nonprofit partner, we can work with you and be that nonprofit partner through our foundation. We've partnered and supported the Communications Union District in their effort to do the full broadband build out. We partner with VTrans and others to manage the Missisquoi Valley and the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. And we have a Rail Trail Council of volunteers that help oversee that work. And then we continue to collaborate with CBOEO on the Healthy Routes program. One of the great projects we did this last year with all these partnership programs that we work on is a new trail-friendly interactive map, trail-friendly businesses for the Lamoille and the Missisquoi Rail Trail. And if you go on the Missisquoi Valley Rail Trail website, you can see a quick link to trail-friendly businesses. So when you have visitors coming to the region to ride the rail trail, they know where they can get water and use a restroom and find some snacks and get some great food and just be welcome as travelers and tourists. And so that's a really great project that we worked on. And then finally, thank you. And I'll turn it over to Peter.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for that review. It is always a helpful reminder to understand how much goes on at the commission that a lot of us really have not a great understanding on, or at least speaking for myself. I mean, just an amazing amount of different types of work and under the surface, and some of it takes a long time, but you've got such an incredibly dedicated staff. It's just awesome. And just this year with the revisions to the regional plan, getting through that challenging audit that we had was really great to be able to do that and to be continuing to be financially strong year after year. And I also appreciate the speakers that you've been able to provide for us, including Kevin Chu from Vermont Futures, Carrick Johnson from the Department of Public Service, and Clayton Clark from Green Mountain Transit. It is really helpful to have those types of deep dives in some of the issues that we deal with. So hopefully we can continue this momentum into the next year. We're doing Lord's work, and I think we're doing it pretty well. As indicated on the slide, we owe kudos to Andy Alling for 5 years on the commission, and Bob was 15, and Emily on the staff with 5 years. That's great. And I think we've recognize the passing of two strong contributors to our organization, Mike Curtis and Al Vogel. I think that's it from my perspective, Catherine. On that item, does anybody else want to reflect on the year?
I just thought it looked like a pretty fantastic presentation, Catherine, and we appreciate your putting it together and showing us many of the accomplishments that have happened. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl.
Okay.
Well, then this is my opportunity too to extend thanks to all of you as board members from the staff. I think I can speak for all of us when I say we always feel supported and appreciated, and that really makes doing the job extra fun because we always know that the board appreciates our work. And so thank you all for being such wonderful board members.
Great. So then I guess our last item is, are there any commissioner announcements? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to wrap
I
things
move
up.
we adjourn. Okay.
Second. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great holiday, everyone.
Yeah.
Enjoy the holidays.
Good night, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Catherine, I didn't mean to harass you about the issue on trying to get the presentation up. My apologies. I was trying to be.
It's fine.
I think it came across well. Okay.
No, I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny. Of course, my PowerPoint decides to crash as we're trying to do that. Yeah. So not at all. I know. I thought it was funny. Thank you for the levity. Have a good night. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. All that stuff.